The most brutal gambit, according to chess page 1, the Burton Gambit, is a gambit that we'll be discussing today. So the gambit starts with e4, e5, f4, starting up with the king's gambit, trying to bait this pawn for the center on the board on d4. But if they take the pawn on f4, we're gonna go for knight to f3. Still a line in the king's gambit. Bishop to e7 is one of the popular moves. After bishop to e7, we're just gonna go bishop to c4, and that induces the move bishop to h4. Now, in the naked eye, a lot of people will see this and go for this check because it's very aggressive. We are gonna go for the move not taking with the knight, because if we take, they will have this very aggressive queen. Instead of doing that, we are gonna go here, pawn to g3, baiting a pawn so that they can take a pawn on g3. We're gonna take the pawn, right, on g3. Except no, we're not gonna take that. We're gonna go and castle. You see, this opening lets the enemy take 3 pawns while also letting the bishop escape on h4. And if they go back 7, we are gonna go sacrifice the bishop on f7 for a pawn. Why are we doing this? Because we're gonna let them bait our bishop, because we're exposing a king to this attack on e5 with a knight attacking the king. And so they have to go king to e8, just trying to be safe. But there is no safe here, because now they're in the range of mate in 9. We are gonna go queen to h5, the best move, and now it's mate in 8. And now they have to cover up with the pawn. And now you notice this tactic here. We can just take the pawn. If they take back, we will take the rook. In this move, most people go here, knight to f6. Notice that their king is so exposed, and it's mate in 7 because we're gonna sacrifice our rook on f6. They will take back. We are gonna go knight to f5, and that is opening up to the king for the queen to check on e8. And they have to move the king over here, the safest spot. We're gonna go here. The best option for the king to go to is here. We're gonna go knight to c4, and that's still check. They have to go here or here. Here is the fastest way to get mated, but here is the slower way. And so, we will check them. They have to go here, and let's mate into. We'll check them again. They have to go here, and we're gonna go here, and it's going to be checkmated by the pawn. This is how aggressive the Burton Gambit is. You're gonna mate them in just 18 moves for sacrificing plus 6 material points in this game. And look how the position is now. This king is literally at the center of the board. Just page 1 just discussed about that line and some other lines. I'm gonna put another line and some other lines in your head so that we can defeat an enemy even another line happens. So e4, they go e5, we're gonna go f4, the same thing. But what if they don't take and instead go knight to c6? Try to develop their knight and also protect that pawn. We are not gonna take and develop calmly with f3. They go pawn to d6, trying to develop their white bishop, and we're gonna go bishop to c4, developing our bishop, and they're gonna try to pin our knight to the queen on d1. Now, we are gonna castle with king to g1, calmly, just ignoring the spin, because when we do castle, they will see this aggressive move, but that holds something back. They did not see this coming. We are gonna go sacrifice the bishop on f6, and so if they take, which they most likely will, we're gonna check them, and we're gonna take their bishop. But there is another tactic that you should know, because if they take the knight, we could take back, they will take back our queen. But as you notice, when we take the queen on g5, it's discovered attack on the king. So it's a mistake. So you guys should know this. But folks, what if they don't do that and instead tuck in their position with king to e8? Well, folks, we're just gonna take the bishop. And if they take the c2 pawn, don't be worried about this rook over here, because after the move pawn to e5, they will take the rook over here. We will check them and sacrifice our rook. And if they take our rook, this is fork. It doesn't really matter if they take the rook here or not, because when they take instead the pawn here, they still have the same line of being forked with the queen and the king. And not only that, this is also forked as well for a mate later on in the game. So folks, I hope this video is very helpful, and if you find it very helpful, please subscribe and like. And so, let's move on to the other lines. So folks, this line occurs when bishop to c4 happens, encouraging this queen to go here, not the bishop, but the queen to go in h4 this time. When we go and move our king to f1, such a defensive move, they might go here, bishop to c5. They don't know what to do, so they develop. We are gonna go pawn to d4, attack the bishop on c5, and they should go back. We are gonna go knight to f3, attacking the queen on h4, gaining more tempo. They're gonna go queen to g4, avoiding the attack. And now, the move, another bishop sacrifice on f7. Why are we doing this? Because if they take, again, this is a fork to the king and a queen on g4 and on f7. But if they don't take the bishop, and instead go king to f8, we are gonna chase the queen away. The queen cannot go here. Your queen cannot go here, 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 and here, here, because it will be taken. The only spot is here. It's not yet trapped, but we're gonna try to trap it. And because this knight is here, we're gonna go move it to c3 to attack the queen later on. So for example, if they take our bishop, we trap the queen over here. Because the bishop over here on f7 is gone. So they can go here, right? The main disadvantage of this is that knight to e5 is a fork to the king and a queen on g6, which we did a while ago to free up the space because of the taken bishop. Another line in this line is that they may not go for the passive move bishop to e7, which is developing bishop, which is true because now they can go here. So we are gonna go h4, attacking this pawn. They cannot really go here because we have the advantage of going knight to e5, and that is attacking the pawn at g4, and we're gonna pair up with the bishop over here later on with f6. We're actually just gonna sacrifice the knight, because when we sacrifice the knight, because if they take the knight, we are gonna go queen to h5, and that is a check to the king, and they have to move the king up here. So after this move, we are gonna check them again and taking another material this time, and then knight to f6 might come up. We are gonna go here, pawn to e5, and that is a fork to the knight. The knight cannot move anywhere because the king will be taken. So they might have not the option of going knight to here because their knight will be taken in a couple of moves. So folks, instead of that, they might go here, king to e8 back, trying to be safe with king to e8. And so we're gonna go queen to h5, and there is a ridiculous mate. After queen to h5, king to e7, we are gonna go queen to e5, checking the king. This is another fork on the rook on h8. They have to go king to f7. We are gonna go bishop to c4, another check to the king, and the only square they can go to is here. We're still gonna check them, and it's already mate in 5 according to the computer. We're not gonna take the rook. They go here, king to h7. We're gonna go queen to f7. This ridiculous checkmate pattern. King to h6, queen to f4, taking back all of the material that they have just taken, except just one pawn. They may go king to g7. We're gonna go back, king to f7, and with a ridiculous pawn move, d3, this opens up the bishop to the king on h6. There's only one way to escape mate in this move. It is to sack the king. And you know how brutal it is to do that. And we're just gonna take with the bishop. And even take with the pawn and mate with the pawn. So folks, this is how brutal this opening is. Even the lines of it is very brutal. And I recommend you to try this opening with chess page 1 open to. And I tried to modify it a little bit so that you guys can have more lines to be prepared with this opening. So if the opponent doesn't do the preferred lines in chess pages 1 video of the most brutal gambit, then you have these tools. If that isn't enough, I could provide you with more videos according to these lines on the king's gambit. But for now, folks, this is saying goodbye to you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if this video really helped you guys, see you guys in the next video. Please subscribe and like. Peace out.